Welcome, everyone. It's Monday
Mm.
night and time for our course spotlight. I'm Kathy Lawson, Chief Knowledge Officer of The Great Discovery. This is our session where we get to learn from our wonderful content creators. So tonight will be no different. Amy has been here before, and every time she comes with new ideas and great content for those of you who are looking to enhance your career, because Amy is a career coach. She is the president and chief career coach of Geffen Careers. She brings to her practice over
Business that's coming
30
up.
years of experience in such industries as finance, engineering, higher education, risk management, health, and nonprofit organizations. She's presented webinars for several colleges and nonprofits, including Brooklyn College, Borough of Manhattan Community College, and the Project Management Institute. And she has a bachelor's degree from Brooklyn College, an MA from Harvard University, and a PhD from New York University. So she has got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience. And so, Amy, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you
Okay.
tell us about Acing the Interview tonight.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Kathy. It's always great to chat with people who are interested in the program itself and interested in selling it to people that they know, their associates. Okay. So I am having some trouble sharing. I have it up on my screen, but for some reason it's not coming up. I don't know why. It's up on my screen, but it's not happening. It's not happening. Okay. So the name of the course is Acing the Interview. And who is this course for? First of all, it's for people who may be recent college graduates who are going for their first job. They don't have much interview experience. They need to know what it's like to be interviewed. Secondly, it's for people in their 20s, 30s, 40s who are changing jobs. Maybe they've been doing the same thing for a few years. They're ready for a change. They want to make more money. That's good for them. Third, this course is good for people who are mid-careers. They have quite a bit of experience under their belts. They want to move up the career ladder. They're going for the next level above themselves. Next, people who are over 50. I do a number of programs separately for people over 50. There's a lot of ageism out there in the workplace, and I present presentations and coach people over 50 who still want to work and are still productive. And the last group of people this is for are people who are unhappily employed. That means someone who's been working and for some reason they may like what they do, but they don't like the company, they don't like their boss. Maybe things are changing around them in the atmosphere and in their profession, and they want to change. So they haven't been laid off, but they know they want to change. And the best way to find a job is to continue working at the job you have now. So those are the people for whom this course works. Any age, any industry. As a coach, I'm industry agnostic and I can help people no matter what their industry, whether it's finance, technology, academia, whatever. Okay, so what is the agenda for this course? The agenda is we're going to talk about what are the steps in the job search. Then we're going to talk about how do you prepare for the interview. Then we'll talk about how you talk about your accomplishments in the interview. And then we're going to talk about how do you follow up after an interview. And then we'll talk about how do you avoid the question about salary. That's a big bugaboo. A lot of people get asked that, and then they make the mistake of talking about salary before they have been offered the job. And so we'll talk about how do you avoid the question of salary? How do you handle that in the interview? How do you follow up? And then what if you do get an offer? What happens then? What are the pros and cons of taking the offer? What are the pros and cons of not taking the offer? So, steps in the job search. A job search has 5 steps. A, B, C, D, E. A stands for assessing your skills, your interests, your values in the workplace. And then you can decide, well, what job title are you going for? And a job target has a job title, a geographic location. And second step is branding. Just like a company has its own brand with a logo and a saying, as an individual, you have a brand. And your brand consists of your pitch, your cover letter, your resume, your LinkedIn profile. The third step is connecting. How do you build a network? Through friends, family, people you know from your college, from your professional association, from your volunteer work. Because 80 to 85% of job seekers get a job through their network, not by answering ads online. And the fourth step, which is what this course addresses, is how do you differentiate yourself from the competition, from the other candidates for a job? And that is what we're going to be talking about. The whole interview process is step 4. And step 5 is enhancing, follow-up. What happens after you have an interview? So 4 steps to preparing for the interview. And one is the strategy. How are you going to handle? What is your strategy for the interview? And the strategy is you are going to act as though you are a consultant during the interview process, as though you were already working with the company, not across the table from them, but with them at the same table to find out more about what are the problems they're surfacing, what challenges will they face in the next 6 months, in the next year, in the next 3 to 5 years. You want to find out as much as you can about the issues, the challenges, the projects they're working on, and what are the problems that the interviewer is facing in his or her job that you can help them with. Second piece of the strategy is research. You need to do your research before you step in the door. That means you find out as much as you can about the company. And you can find out about the company going to their website, reading in journals, reading in the Wall Street Journal, and reading their annual report. And you can find out about the person who's interviewing you by looking that person up, not just on the website, but on LinkedIn profile. That person most likely will have a LinkedIn profile, and you can learn about that person who will be sitting across from you asking the questions during the interview. So research is a big part of it. The third thing you need to do to prepare for interviews is to understand and be able to talk confidently about your accomplishments. And we call this the section PAR, problem, action, result, or some people call it STAR. What is the subject? What task did you do? What actions did you take? And what were the results? Because companies are interested in results. And so you need to look at all your accomplishments, write a list of 10 to 15, 20 accomplishments, and pick your 5 or 6 or 7 top accomplishments. And write up a paragraph for yourself. What did you do? What was the problem? Who did you work with? How did you solve the problem? What actions did you take? And what were the results? And try to talk about the results in terms of money saved, money earned, increase in clients, increase in phone calls, decrease in expenses. You're trying to quantify your results where you can using numbers, dollars, percents. Sometimes you cannot quantify, but you might be able to qualify, such as finish the project under the timeline or within the budget, or solved a problem that 3 other managers could not solve. So in this course, we will talk about and practice how to write up the accomplishments, how to talk about the accomplishments. Another thing to prepare for is the types of questions you can expect on an interview. There are only 3 kinds of questions: typical questions, difficult questions, behavioral questions. Typical questions, they will ask you, oh, so what do you know about this company? Or why do you want this job? Or what is your greatest strength? Or what kind of manager are you? What kind of manager do you like to work for? Those are some of the typical questions. There are also difficult questions, such as, why did you leave your last job? Or under what circumstances did you leave your last job? Or what is your biggest negative? What's your biggest weakness? And then there are also behavioral questions. Behavioral questions are the ones that start with, tell me about a time when, for example, you disagreed with your boss. Why do they ask a question like that? They want to know, how do you behave towards your manager? If you disagree, do you stand up for your point of view? And then if the manager says no, do you ultimately go along with the manager and compromise? And what did you learn from the situation? Tell me about a time when your client was not happy with the results. What did you do then? What did you learn from it? Behavioral questions are trying to tease out how you behave in the workplace towards your manager, towards your team members, towards your clients, towards your vendors. Another piece of this course is how to prepare for a video interview. Many people are now being interviewed initially either just by phone or on Zoom, as we are on tonight, or FaceTime or Skype. My son is working at a company now, and all of his interviews were on Zoom. And he did not meet anyone in person until he was offered and accepted the job, and he showed up at the office. So it is very likely that you'll have one or more interviews by Zoom. What does that mean? You need to prepare for Zoom. You need to be dressed right, just like you would dress for a live interview. You need to have your hair done. And if you're a woman, make sure your face looks great, hair looks great. Lighting is very important. If it's daytime, make sure you face the light of a window. Don't have the light come behind you, because then you'll be in the dark. If it's nighttime, make sure you have a light in front of you, again, so that your face is lit up. Sit up straight, smile, show enthusiasm, show energy. Your personality comes across on a Zoom just as it does in a live situation. So you want to make sure that you are prepared for the Zoom possibility. All right, so now the salary question. Let's say you're talking with a recruiter, and of course they want to know, what's your salary range? What are you interested in? The first time you get asked about salary, you say, I know you'll be fair, but I'd like to table that discussion for now. You try to put it off. The second time you are asked about salary, so what are you looking to make? You can say, I'm really more interested in learning more about the roles and responsibilities of this position before we talk about salary. The third time you get asked, you can say, well, I've done my research, and the market value for this position is, and you give a range, a low to a high end range. And you can find examples of ranges for particular job titles on salary.com or vault.com or LinkedIn or Google. But make sure that when you give a range, let's say the range is, 80 to 125, but you want 100, you say 100 to 125. When you give a range, make sure the low end that you give is a salary number that you can deal with, that you would accept. So that's how you try to avoid this whole salary question. You can also say, well, it's not just the salary. There's a lot of other things that are involved in terms of compensation and bonus and equity in the company and vacation, etc. But during the interview, do not ask about vacations. Do not ask about telecommuting. Do not ask about any of the benefits or the health benefits. Why? Because it shows that you're more interested in the benefits than in the job itself. So you do want to wait until you get the offer. When you do, then you can get a lot more information about not only the salary, but also the compensation and the perquisites, the perks, the extra things. Okay, you have an interview. Follow up after the interview. That's the enhancing part. How do you follow up? Well, everybody knows you're supposed to write a thank you note. Well, It's not just a thank you note. That's why we call this section enhancing. Enhancing is follow up. When you follow up, there are a number of things you have to put into this follow up email. Yes, you do say thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to me about the position of X at your company. Then, second thing you want to do is you talk about something you learned about the company during the interview process. It shows that you're interested in the company, and it shows that you have been listening to the interviewer. Third thing you want to say is reiterate your 2 or 3 key skills or expertise that are relevant to the job. Next thing is you want to reiterate 1 or 2 of your accomplishment stories that show that you have the skills and experience to do the job. And then finally, at the end, you say something like, I am certain I can contribute to meeting your bottom line if it's a for-profit company, or I am certain I can contribute to meeting the purpose of your organization if it's a not-for-profit, the mission of your organization for nonprofits. And I look forward to the next steps in the process. So what can you learn from this course? If you're going to take the course, you learn the steps in the process. You learn how to write about your accomplishments and talk about your accomplishments. You learn how to distinguish yourself from the competition. You learn how to follow up. You learn how to avoid the salary question. What will you miss? Well, if you don't take this course, then you won't know, well, how do I dress for an interview? How do I avoid the salary question? How do I deflect any negative images? How do I avoid certain questions? And how do I find out what are the illegal questions that an interviewer is not allowed to ask me? And how do I respond if I do get asked those questions? So this is a great course to take as part of my series of 5 or 6 courses on the whole job search. One is on assessment, one is on the resume, another one is on a LinkedIn profile, this one is on interviewing. And so this is a good course for people who want to brush up on their interviewing process, or people who don't have any experience, or who have been working in the same company for 10 or 20 years and haven't been on an interview in a long time. So we have some time for questions if you'd like to ask me any questions.
Any questions from the room or
Let's see what's
comments?
in the chat. Comments, questions? No.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. No. Wait a minute. I starting rehab on a shoestring. These are just people talking to each other in the chat.
And some of it was an
Amy,
overflow from the
I just wanted to say you did an excellent job. Of course, I like to see pictures at the same time as people are talking. It helps to sear it in my brain. But you really got me interested in thinking about how many people that would be so helpful for. And you did a good job. So thank you very much.
Well, you're very welcome. As I said, I have worked with people in all different fields. I've been in academia, I've been in nonprofit, I've been in finance and insurance and engineering. I worked in an engineering company for 10 years. I'm not an engineer. So a lot of these techniques are useful no matter what your field is, no matter what your job title is, and the process works. I've worked with several outplacement companies doing this, and it works with everybody.
Well, and just the attitude adjustment of going in and saying, do not ask about salary or benefits, just find out, do you really click with these people? Is it a place you want to work? And are they going to appreciate you and say, give it to me straight. What are the worst things that are going on in your company right now? Because I don't want to get involved in a place that's not going to move forward. So thank you so much for helping to adjust our mindset to the new paradigm.
Exactly. When you're interviewing for a job, you're interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. And yes, you want to know if that's going to be the right fit. Absolutely. Now, I do have a special. If you want to contact me, I will give each of you a free copy of my workbook. It's not a long book, it's a workbook on 5 steps to your dream job. So I wish I could share my thing. I had it open and it's just not, I don't know. Choose what to share.
Yep, sometimes the technology just doesn't work, huh?
It just doesn't work. I mean, I opened up my PowerPoint. I do Zoom all the time, and I'm sharing my screen all the time. And this time, it's just doesn't want to share with me. So what could I say?
Yeah,
Okay.
Joyce just put, and Tim's got his hand up, but I see Joyce's comment, this was priceless, you want to share with her grandkids. I was thinking the same thing. I know a lot of college age kids right now who are, even though the universities have outreach and career counselors and all that, it just, I don't think they teach them these skills. So I think it's really really great for college age students who are looking for a job in the next year to go and take this type of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that all the time, that there are career development departments at colleges, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not good. And so, yeah, students, I do a lot with college students as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I put my information in the chat. If anybody needs it, it's right there. And yes, someone said I hear a little New York accent. Absolutely. I'm originally from Brooklyn. You can take Brooklyn. You can take the girl out of Brooklyn, but you can't take Brooklyn out of the girl. I do speak French and Spanish fluently without a Brooklyn accent.
And Tim's got his hand up, so go ahead,
Tim's
Tim.
got a question. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, hey, Amy, just a great job on that. And I just have an observation more than a question. And the observation is this. Team, we've got an in-demand topic right here in front of you. You've got expertise. How many people do you know? I know Jasper Stanford, you've been in government, and a lot of your friends are out looking for work right now. And in a lot of industries, there's tremendous shifts that are going on through particularly technology. AI is shifting a lot of places. There are a lot of people looking for work. This is a course that you can get out and promote and monetize. And, as you start driving traffic to Amy, you're going to get paid. And, and Amy, you're going to get paid by referring people, also yourself, bringing affiliates to promote your content of your existing clients, people that have taken, to look for a job. Maybe they haven't found one yet. By promoting your course to others, they can get an income stream up and going, and you get paid on everything else on their platform as well.
Great. Thank you for that comment, Tim.
Other comments, questions? I'll put the title of your course. It's called Acing the Interview. I can do that.
Yeah.
Acing
I
the
was gonna say,
Interview.
did we get the course?
There are courses under careers. And originally, when TGD started, there was no section, no organizational structure called careers, but now there is. So there's 5 or 6 courses and they're under careers.
Good, very good, awesome. Yeah, let's just get the link to her course in there. That would be great.
Well, I've got the title. I have to go search for the link to the course. So, any other questions or comments? There's some stuff in chat. So
here.
Quiet group.
The interview. I've got it right here, Kathy.
I got it. Okay, great.
Yeah, I've got it. Acing the Interview. Here we go. This is it. Here is the course link, guys. Just replace demo 2 at the end with your own affiliate link, right? Don't use mine.
No, Amy, if I had only known this about 45 years ago when I looked for my last job,
Right.
I would have nailed that sucker.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's
I
amazing.
learned about this about 10 years ago. I had a long career before this, and I did end one of my jobs, and they gave me severance, and they also paid for me to be coached at an outplacement company. So I was a client of an outplacement company. I got coached, and then I took their training to become a coach, and that was 10 years ago. And it's terrific. The information is just priceless.
Yeah, and what you talked about, like being fully interviewed just on Zoom, never even meeting anyone or going into the workplace. I can't even imagine that, right? I mean, that's, especially the younger generation, I mean, you don't think about that. I was working with a client and one of the gals had just come on board, and it was right at the tail end of COVID. And she said that she did all of her interviews online. She actually went into the office for her onboarding session, right? And there was like nobody in the office. It was her and one other person that did the onboarding.
Nobody's there.
That was
Nobody's
it. She's like, and she went back home. She said it was like the weirdest thing ever. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So,
Yeah. Well, both my my son and daughter-in-law both work from home and go into the office maybe once a month or twice a month. My other daughter-in-law works from her computer, and my son works in a hospital. So he has to be there live. He works in a hospital.
yeah, very good. Yeah, different world, that's for sure. But great information. My gosh.
And I was going to say, I was interested in the behavioral interviewing because as a manager myself for so many years interviewing people, that started to happen. And it was like, we just would get, just really, really scraping the surface answers as opposed to real behavior. What was the situation? It was like, you could just tell they were sort of dancing around it. And I know the purpose of it. And it's like, when you get a good answer, you're like, oh, you really kind of want that person because it's like they get it, right? So it's a great interviewing technique. I love it.
Right. Not everybody gets it.
No, yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, other questions, comments?
I was just going to say, so Amy, we'll have this wrapped up for you in a video. It'll be posted in the video archive tomorrow. I know you speak Spanish and French, but now you can translate it into anything and get some other clients out around the world as well. Just click of a button. You're all set.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I really enjoy it. I love helping people, as you can tell, and taking courses, coaching, whatever. Thanks again.
Well, Amy, I just behalf of everybody, thanks for being here. And I know you've come on and done this before, and this was equally good. So keep pumping those courses out and come back again. We'd love to have you speak again. So, Joyce has got something. Go ahead, Joyce.
Oh, Joyce, you have a question.
Thank you so much. What age group? What age
What do you mean,
group?
what age group? For what?
For this course.
Well, 20s, 30s, children, recent college grads, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I help people at all ages, doesn't matter what their age is. If they're looking for a job, I can help that person.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joyce. All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you all on the Wednesday Course Spotlight and tomorrow night for course creators. So we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Amy.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody. Have a great night.